Assalamu alaikum all. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all well. If you're new here, my name is Joke. Today's video is going to be about marriage. I have a video in my channel which is about marriage, but today it's going to be about premarital stage of your life. Now, this is something not many people do before they get married. Over time, and how advanced we are in life now, I have come to see the value and the importance in our young Muslims to actually take this part of their journey before they fully embark on this marriage journey with whoever they choose to spend the rest of their life with. At the premarital stage, you need somebody who's going to be a go-between. So maybe like a premarital counselor or a that sort of person, or maybe one of your parents. But I generally would advise somebody who's neutral to the both of you to have this discussion with, and inshallah you'll both come to an agreement on what allowances to make, what you tolerate in your relationship, and what you will not tolerate. Marriage is meant to improve us, and it's not meant to reduce us. You need to know that person you're intending to spend the rest of your life with. What kind of expectations do they have from you as a wife? What kind of expectation they have from you as a husband? What you are willing to give and what you're not willing to give? What you're willing to take and what you're not willing to take. You need to know this at the start. We don't want a situation where you end up embarking on this journey and you think, oh, I wish I'd known this. I wish I knew he wanted a stay-at-home wife, or maybe I wish I knew he wanted me to chip into the household bills, and that's not what I want. You need to discuss these things before you embark on it, just so you have a successful marriage, inshallah. Things like, how are we going to raise our kids? You need to discuss this. Do you want to have a faith, well, I hope you do, faith-centered upbringing for your children, or do you want it to be a little more relaxed? You need to discuss this. You need to know exactly what values you each want to bring into the union, and it has to be something you're very comfortable with before you make that commitment. This is another very difficult one. How do you intend to handle illness between yourselves? Sometimes there are illnesses in the marriage. One person falls very, very ill. How are you that sort of person who's willing to support the other when they fall? I'm talking about life-changing, life-threatening illnesses. How do you both intend to handle that if it does happen to one or the other of you, that the person you're planning on spending the rest of your life with is that person who's willing to support you through this sort of journey if you have to embark on it? Sometimes the husbands, they set unrealistic expectations. They want a stay-at-home mom. But then, are you able to afford the kind of lifestyle that would make your wife stay at home? And if you can, does she want to be a stay-at-home mom? How to deal with conflict resolution? But I think it's vitally important. You need to know how one person reacts when they're angry or upset, and how the other person reacts. Because sometimes there are some people who, when they're angry or when they're upset, they don't want to be talked to. You need to know that, and if need be, give them the space. They need to calm down a little bit. How do you want to deal with your finances? Do you want to have a joint bank account? Do you want to deal with finances jointly? Do you want to deal with it separately? You need to know. You can't make assumptions, especially when it comes to money. We know in Islam, the man is responsible for the household bills in a family, but the way we live now, it's becoming increasingly impossible for just the man to sustain the household in some cases. So you both need to then come to an agreement. Is the wife willing to support her husband with her earnings as well or not? You need to talk about this. Another one which I don't think gets talked about a lot is, what are your future plans and goals? Where do you want to live? Does one of you want to relocate? Is the other one happy with the relocation plans? Not everybody wants to relocate. The reason for talking about these things at the very start of your marriage is so that you know already if you both are suitable and compatible with each other. While you're discussing what you both want from each other, from your relationship, you need to be able to assess each other, gauge how you're talking, are you both mentally in the same space in life to be married? Because if you're both on different scales, then you may find that the reunion does not work. While you're talking to this person, where they are, if they're ready to actually, even though they're saying that they're ready to get married, are they actually ready to be married? In Islam, the most important thing in a union is having iman. I'd hope that's what you're looking for first and foremost in your life partner. Whether they're wealthy, they're good looking, they're good bonuses, but you need that person who's religious. Not just religious, because a lot of people think being religious is enough. It isn't enough. It is amazing to have that person, but it's doubly so if that person is compassionate, kind, patient. You need patience a lot to be able to be in a relationship and stay in a relationship in the long term, and understanding one another as well. Know when to give each other space, know what pleases and what displeases the other person. I've heard some people also talk about the number of children they want. Personally, I don't think that should be a deal breaker, because you could say, I want 5 children, for example, and he's like, oh yeah, great, I want 5 children as well. 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, actually, nah, I can't cope with 5 children. I think I just want 3 children. So having how many children you want, personally, I don't think that should be a deal breaker. Things like you don't even know when you're going to be able to get pregnant, and and again, that's another point actually. How are you going to both deal with if you have to deal with infertility issues? How are you going to handle that between yourselves? I watched a show recently and I was very shocked about the statistics, and if I find the statistics, I'll put it on the screen for you to see. I think there's about 50% of infertility issues in a couple now being caused by men. That was a shocking data to me. Heavily being placed on the woman, that most of the time she's the person who's more infertile than the man. But now more than ever, we're seeing cases where men are having infertility issues. I hope you're enjoying all my points so far and you're taking notes. You find it beneficial enough to share with somebody. Please, if you're yet to do so, I like this video to help my channel grow. And also, yet to subscribe, please, what are you waiting for? Do so. Thank you very much. Now, this next point is a very touchy one for a lot of people, but whether you like it or not, it's perfectly acceptable in Islam. I'm talking about the topic of polygamy. What do you think about it? Are you happy to be a co-wife if that's what your husband wants? I mean, some men already know that's what they want, but they do not disclose this to their potential wife at the start. That's actually a deception to put somebody in that situation. So if you are a man watching this and you do want to be a polygamist in future, which is allowed, please be honest and open from the start to your potential wife. Let her know what she potentially would be dealing with in future. And inshallah, if she's the right one for you, there's nothing stopping her from going ahead with it. I mean, there's a lot of co-wives now existing in perfectly happy union. We forget that each of us have been raised very differently. Moving in together and starting your life, despite the fact that they've got iman, they are from a good background, and all the good and nice things you see about each other that made you want to go ahead with this marriage. There is reason to give pause and think, I'm moving in with somebody I never knew up until now. There are going to be habits and behaviors and things that would surprise you, and be prepared for those habits and behaviors. Be ready to embrace them, and with time, if they're bad habits, inshallah, you can both influence each other and get rid of each other's bad habits. There are some situations where the wife is expected to move in with the husband's family, the opportunity of living alone at the start of their marriage. Is that woman comfortable with that arrangement? Dear husband, please check with her before you make her your wife. Is she happy to be living with your mom, dad, sister, brother in the same household where she will not be as free as maybe she potentially would want to be. That is something you need to discuss with her. And if you're not living with family and your family want to come over, this needs to be mutual between yourselves. How often are your families going to come over? How often are they going to stay over at yours? How long for? How many occurrences? Because you don't want a situation where the husband will just say, oh, my mom's coming over, my sister, whoever is coming over, and they come and they can stay for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks before they go back. And then when's the turn of the wife to have her family members over, the husband is now being unwelcoming to his wife's family members. So have a discussion about it and have it known. We can have family members over. I don't mind. Talk about it. It's vitally important. Please make the good choice for yourselves so that you can have a happy relationship, for your children so that they can be raised and nurtured in a very happy environment. I really hope you take these points seriously, because as Muslims, there are a lot of marriages breaking down, and I really would love to see many more marriages going all the way. I never deceived myself and looked at a marriage and thought, oh, they've been married for 50 years. Sometimes people are enduring things. Please do not endure your marriage. Enjoy your marriage. I really, really hope if you take nothing out of this video today, you take that out of this video. Do not endure your marriage. Enjoy your marriage. And may Allah bless your union. Thank you so much for watching this video to the end. And if you've learned at least one thing from this video, share it with somebody who you think would benefit. Somebody who's planning on getting married very soon. Help them to get to that point where they know what they want from a husband or from a wife. Hope to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.